Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, good morning everyone. We are reading from Srimad-Bhagatavam, 6th canto, chapter number 1. We will read verses 61, 62. Yep, 62 we have there, yeah? 62, okay. Если кому-то нужен перевод, то, я не знаю, найдите его где-то. Okay, so 61, we will read the verse, 61 I will read, and then 62. Drishtvatam kamaliptena bahuna paririmbitam jagama hrichaya vasam sahasaiva vimohita. So we're reading about Ajamila being actually the beginning of his end, so to say, the beginning of his fall down. So Ajamila was walking in the forest, and being a young Brahmana, he saw something. So the translation. The Shudra, his arm decorated with why did you change something? It was okay, no? It was perfect. The Shudra, his arm decorated with turmeric powder, was embracing the prostitute. When Ajamila saw her, the dormant lusty desires in his heart awakened. In an illusion, he fell under their control. Prabhupada says, it is said that if one's body is smeared with turmeric, it attracts the lusty desires of the opposite sex. The word kama liptena indicates that the Shudra was decorated with turmeric smeared all over on his body. Let's see, verse number 62. Let's read the word for word first. Stambhayan, trying to control. Atmana, by the intelligence. Atmanam, the mind. Yavat sattvam, as far as possible for him. Yatha shrutam, by remembering the instructions of celibacy, brahmacharya, not even to see a woman, not. Shashaka was able, samadhatum, to restrain, manaha, the mind, madana vepitam, tainted by Cupid or lusty desire. Stambhanamatmanatmanam yavat sattvam yatha shrutam shaka samadhatum nasha samadhatum manomadana vepitam stambhayan atmanatmanam Yavat sattvam na shashaka samadhatum manomadana vepitam. Somebody else? Sambayamat yavat sattva yatha shrutam manomadana vepitam.
Yavat sattvam yatha
shrutam na shashaka samadhatum manomadana vepitam. Anybody else? Stambhayamatmanatmanam
Yavat sattvam yatha
shrutam
na shashaka samadhatum manomadana vepitam.
Stambhayamatmanatmanam
Yavat sattvam yatha shrutam na shashaka samadhatum manomadana vepitam.
Okay, Srila Prabhupada's translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. As far as possible, he patiently tried to remember the instructions of the Shastras, not even to see a woman. With the help of this knowledge and his intellect, he tried to control his lusty desires, but because of the force of Cupid within his heart, he failed to control his mind. Purport. Unless one is very strong in knowledge, patience, and proper bodily, mental, and intellectual behavior, controlling one's lusty desires is extremely difficult. Thus, after seeing a man embracing a young woman and practically doing everything required for sex life, even a fully qualified Brahmana, as described above, could not control his lusty desires and restrain himself from pursuing them. Because of the force of materialistic life, to maintain self-control is extremely difficult unless one is specifically under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we're reading the 6th canto. This is the very first chapter. And I was asked by a few devotees to say a few words about how this chapter is coming and what is the topic discussed here. And of course, the obvious topic is the difficulties of the sex desire, which is applicable to everyone, definitely. And here, Srila Prabhupada, basically the verse and Prabhupada's purport, they explain that that actually this is the nature, and there is butter and there is fire, and it just works like that. It's not that, somebody is crazy or somebody is pervert or whatever. It's just the nature that the butter gets melted when it's near the fire. And therefore, so when Jamila got into this story, he was like, "Oh my God, I'm looking for some help. I need some help." So he was trying to remember the Shastric evidences that the butter should not get close to the fire, and and he was not a brahmachari even. He was married actually. Well, although actually I don't know. Maybe he was not yet married. He had wife, but maybe he had wife after he got into this into this issue. I don't know that. I just don't know. Maybe he was a brahmachari at that time. But anyways, he was a brahmana. He was serving his guru. He was collecting firewood from the forest. He was bringing, and he saw that picture, like in the internet. He just opened like a wrong website, and he saw that. And he immediately started remembering, especially the famous verse which is quoted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a very strict brahmachari, especially when he took sannyas. Nishkinchanasya bhagavad bhajano nukasya param param jigamishor bhavasagarasya sandarshanam vishayanam athayoshanam cha ha hanta hanta vishabhakshanatopya sadhu. He says that sadhu is not just speaking about, well, actually he speaks about two types of people. He says, first of all, that Nishkinchanasya Bhagavad Bhajanon Mukasya, one who has dedicated his life to Bhagavad Bhajan, to the service to the Supreme Lord. He is Nishkinchana. Well, Nishkinchana may mean sannyasi, but Nishkinchana actually means sadhu. It means the pure devotee. And this is very relevant actually to the topic that we're discussing. I will speak more about this purity and impurity of devotional service. So he says, if one is on the path of devotional service, Nishkinchanasya Bhagavad Bhajan Unmukhasya, in order to do it, in order to turn your face to Krishna, to become pure devotee, Param Param Jigamishor Bhavasagarasi, if one wants to cross over the material ocean, then Sandarshanam Vishayanam Athayoshanam cha, then looking on the not just women, but it's not about women, it's about Vishayanam, looking into someone enjoying his senses, and especially looking at the objects of the senses. So if you just look at it, then ha hanta hanta vishabhakshanatopya sad, then it's not good. It's not good. Asado. Asado, it's not good because it's just like drinking poison. Is it good, drinking poison? Is it tasty, or is it healthy, or is it prolonging your life? No, it's not good. So pi asado. Api asado. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So this is and superficially we may say that, okay, brahmacharis are not supposed to get involved into all these things, man-woman relationships, and sannyasis and brahmacharis. Many here are brahmacharis, so many may think, well, yeah, that's about that we should get, proper distance from women, like that. Like I remember, in like 20 years ago, I was helping in the pujari room, and one brahmachari was standing there, and when Mataji approached him, just asked him something, and he said, "Mataji, can't you see I'm a brahmachari?" Like she was like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" And he got married in 2 years or something. That's life. But it's not about brahmacharis. It's about Bhagavad Bhajan Mukha. It's about trying to turn my face to Krishna. It's about everyone who wants to cross over the material ocean and come in contact with Krishna, directly in contact. But there's also another topic that we should also be aware that these are the difficulties, especially in Kali Yuga. And Prabhupada says in the previous purport, one of the purports, maybe in the one before the previous, he says that in Kali Yuga it's everywhere. Yeah, in the one before the previous, he says that everywhere, wherever you go, you can see those pictures, especially in the Western countries. Not only in the Western, but also in Eastern also, it's like that. But especially in the West, yeah. It's like a common thing to see people, kissing, people embracing each other, and even having sex just on the street. And like women are not wearing dress mostly, and men also, behaving in a very peculiar way. So it's not just about women and men. It's about everyone trying to enjoy, and you can see it everywhere, in economy, in social life, in arts, in politics. People are just trying to enjoy. And even nowadays, it's not even about opposite sex or whatever you call it, opposite gender, whatever politically correctly you call it. Still, it's the same stuff. And it's not that people are just doing it with the opposite sex. It's absolutely notorious nowadays, absolutely crazy. So therefore, that's an important topic, and I'm sure you have spoken a lot about that. And we will not focus on that. What we will discuss now is what is basically this chapter about. So we should look at the Bhagavatam. Let's just, in the time that we have, let's try to see Bhagavatam from the bird's perspective, so to say. Just try to see how is this chapter coming here, why we're discussing, and what is actually the topic discussed here. So Bhagavatam is actually about only one topic. What is the topic? What is the theme of Bhagavatam? Huh? Ashraya. Brahmachari Ashraya?
No.
Prasada Ashraya? Yes. What is Ashraya? So what is Bhagavatam? It's about Krishna. Actually, if you want to hear Bhagavatam, you should hear Anandavardhana Swami. Not me, definitely, because he can tell you about Krishna. Like the day before yesterday in Riga, he was describing Krishna's glories. No, not in before. Well, it was just yesterday, I don't know. It was like 2 hours ago in Riga. Actually, it was long ago, but so condensed. Yeah, and he was describing. Oh, he spoke it in Tallinn, yeah. Actually, yeah, in Tallinn he spoke about it, about qualities of Krishna, is Krishna's beauty and Krishna's qualities. This is what Bhagavatam is about. But in the beginning of the 10th chapter of the second canto, Shukadeva Goswami says, actually, I have several topics in this book. And he describes Atrasarga, Visarga, Stanam, Poshanam, Uttaha, Manvantaresha, Nukatha, Nirodha, Mukti, Rashraha. He says this topic and that topic, creation and secondary creation, etc., etc. So actually, and Acharyas, they explain why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, if there are 10 topics, why don't you write 10 books? Because, if you have a book, if you're writing a book, then you should dedicate it to one topic. And then he explains that, no, actually there is only one topic, it's Krishna. But in order to come to Krishna, in order to make this Bhagavad Bhajan Unmukha, if you want to actually turn your face to Krishna, if you actually want to fall in love with Krishna, then you first you have to do certain things. There are certain conditions that have to be fulfilled before you actually can do that. Because without those, you'll be just imagining Krishna. You will be just imagining Krishna dancing while you're singing. You will just be imagining Krishna, making obstacles for your cooking in the kitchen, whatever. So we may imagine many things, but to actually face Krishna, to actually have this Bhagavad Bhajan Unmukha, this Unmukha Bhajan, to directly see Krishna and worship Him, we need to come through certain purification process. And this is why Bhagavatam is of 12 cantos. It's not just one canto, although it's the biggest one, the 10th one, but there are so many other things. And we will just try to see how actually Bhagavatam comes. So the first canto of Bhagavatam, we'll just make a short overview, if you don't mind. Okay. I just want to ask you some question. Okay, no problem. So the highest topic of Bhagavatam is Ashraya, which means what? The highest goal, the highest summum bonum, as Prabhupada says, which means the highest, what is it? Bonum, summum bonum means the highest blaga, yes, but how is that?
Good. Highest good.
Highest?
Good.
Good, yeah, you can say, highest good, we can say that. What is the highest, what benefit, you may say, what is the highest good, for the living entity? And definitely that's Krishna, but how do we come to that? Because we may ask, okay, what is the highest goal? What is the highest good? But that may be just, just out of curiosity, actually. And first of all, we have to know before we read Srimad-Bhagatavam, we have to know how to ask questions. That's the first thing. And therefore, in the first canto of Srimad-Bhagatavam, there are 3 types of questions that we can see. 3 types. The first 3 chapters are dedicated to the sages of Naimisharanya asking questions. Then the next 3 chapters are dedicated to Vyasadeva asking questions. And all the 15 chapters, whatever, up to the 19th chapter, up to the 18th chapter, actually up to the 19th chapter, up to the very end, they're dedicated to how Maharaja Parikshit was asking questions. And the whole idea of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is to explain that you may ask questions like the sages did. You may do that. And you may have chance then to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, but that's not the way to do it actually. You even can ask questions like Vyasadeva was asking, but that's not even that is not the proper way to ask questions. And only Parikshit's way, only the way Parikshit was asking questions, this is how you should ask questions. And let us see what are the questions of the sages of Naimisharanya. So the first 3 chapters describe what are their questions. Who remember the questions? We all know there are 6 questions that the sages of Naimisharanya ask. And sometimes we say, well, Bhagavatam answers all those 6 questions throughout the, all the cantos. But actually, it's not like that. Actually, the Sutta Goswami, he answers all the questions of the sages of Naimisharanya in the 3rd chapter. The 3rd chapter. I was sitting there and I was looking for all the questions just not to be speaking without references. So I thought that it would be nice if we could remember what are the questions and the answers. So what is the first question of the Naimisharanya sages? Who remembers? The famous 6 questions. Yes, bro.
What is the highest religion?
Yeah, what is the highest good and what is the highest religion, basically. So, and this is, see, before we go through the questions, so the Naimisharanya sages, they're not very much qualified hearers. It doesn't mean they're not qualified people, but that means that there are several different qualifications for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, for asking questions. And so Naimisharanya sages, like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in the Bhagavad Gita in 7:15, he says that Naimisharanya sages are the examples of Jigyasu. You remember, Chaturvidha Bhajanti Mam, Artha Artharthi Jigyasu, Gyanicha Bharatarshama. So he says that Naimisharanya sages are Jigyasu, which means they are interested and they are curious. Yeah. Jigyasu means literally curious. So that means they are not very much about Krishna. They're not very much after Krishna. They are more like, okay, what's happening? Like Wikipedia, you open and there is a part which is called "What's happened this day?" Yeah, okay. Oh, let's see what happens this day. Or there's a hot link or some news story, something. Okay, what's there? What's in the newspapers? And they said but they were not laymen. They were quite interested in the highest good for the society, but they were thinking from the sociological and from materialistic point of view. Basically, they were like, okay, how can we benefit the society? We are doing this 1,000 years sacrifice in order to benefit the society. It's not for self-realization, it's not for Krishna even, it's just to benefit the society. So their qualification was just the beginning to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And therefore, but they heard it. And they had the 6 questions. And if you look into those 6 questions, you will see that they're not actually very deep. Although they're quite interesting, but they're not very profound. It's not to criticize them, but it's for us to understand how lowly we are actually, because we cannot even ask those questions. And those questions, what is the highest good for the society? And who else? Usually people don't ask such questions. People do ask sometimes when there is war, when there is calamities, when there is economic problems. Sometimes people ask, so what is the good? So what will be the good for the society? And they are also asking, and Sutta Goswami answered that question. What was the answer? Savapam samparo dharmo yado bhakti radokshusha ahai tukiya pratihata nyayatma suprasidati. This is the second chapter, yeah? Or the third chapter, or the second chapter, the verse number 6, yeah, 1 to 6. So basically he answered. Then what else? Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayatya Vairagyam Gyanam Chatat Ahai to come. He says that, well, because if you get bhakti, then you can get everything else, anything. So these are two verses that answer the first question. Then the second question is, what is the essence of all the scriptures? And the whole second chapter, basically, second chapter of the first canto answers that question. That bhakti is the essence of the scriptures. Then what else? What's the third question? Actually, it's not difficult to remember them. Третий вопрос.
Чего же пришел Кришна сюда? Как сын Девы.
Is it? Я не помню. Yes, purpose of his appearance, definitely, yes. Purpose of his appearance. And what's the answer? Why did he appear as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva? To attract the conditioned souls. That is also answered in, where is that? In the second chapter, verse number 34. Thus the Lord of the universe maintains all planets inhabited by demigods, man and lower animals. Assuming the role of incarnations, he performs pastimes to reclaim those in the mode of goodness, of pure goodness. So this is why he comes. He comes, actually, the Shukadeva Goswami gives very elaborate description of why Krishna comes at the very end of the 9th chapter, canto, at the very end. But that's another topic. And also, Aticham Shakalap Sa Krishna Stu Bhagavan Swayam, Indrari Vekulan Lokam, Vridayanti Yuge Yuge. So the Goswami says, yeah, this is the third chapter. He says, yeah, Krishna comes in order to help the demigods, and this and that. So basically, he answers, then what is the next question? The fourth question. Please describe the Purusha avatars. You remember, yeah? Describe the Purusha avatars. And Purusha avatars are described in the first canto. Then describe what else? Lila avatars. This is the fifth question. And what is the answer? It's the third chapter of the first canto. So all the Lila avatars there is. And what is the last question, the fifth, sixth? Yeah, where did Dharma take shelter after the disappearance of Krishna? And where did Dharma take shelter? What is the verse? What is the verse? Huh? No. Puranam what? Puranath Khudanoti. Yeah, I also don't remember, but I put it here. It's the verse, Krishna Spadhama Pagate Dharma Jnana Jivi Saha. This one? Purunar Khodana. Yeah, Purunar Khodanoji. So he says this Bhagavata Purana is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. So actually, the questions of the Naimisharanya sages are answered. So what else to discuss? Therefore, we have the second type of questions, which is the question put by Vyasadeva. And the Acharyas explained that the Naimisharanya sages are called Kanishta inquirers. Like Kanishta doesn't mean like, thumbs down. Yeah, Kanishta means the lowest, then lowest, middle, and highest. Yeah? So low, middle, and high. Kanishta means low level. Then the middle level is Vyasadeva, Madhyama, inquirer. And what is the question of Vyasadeva? Who can remember? What did he ask about? And whom did he ask? Yes, Narada Muni. Yes, why I'm not satisfied? He was saying that Gurudev, although I'm, yes, correct. Gurudev, yes. Although I know all the answers to the questions put by the Naimisharanya sages, I'm not just aware of those answers, but I wrote them. I wrote all the scriptures that the sages of Naimisharanya are trying to, understand, to realize by asking questions, by this and that. And actually, Naimisharanya sages, they were asking Sutta about different topics, that, because he spoke many, many Puranas to them. So one of the Puranas was Srimad-Bhagatavam. And he says, Vyasadeva says, actually, I wrote those Puranas. So I don't have those questions anymore. But still, what's the problem? I know all the answers to the questions they put, but still I'm not satisfied. And the verse is, he says, please, therefore, find out the deficiency in me, despite my being absorbed in transcendence under these disciplinary regulations and vows. Actually, Dharma, it says, so see, dear devotees, this is important. The main idea of the sages of Naimisharanya, which is very high above us, which is actually even we cannot ask those questions, but their inquiry was about Dharma. So they were asking, what is the Dharma? Where is Dharma? How is Krishna connected to Dharma? How Krishna gives Dharma, etc., etc. So this is their core interest is Dharma. But Vyasadeva, he accomplished all this dharmic stuff. He knows everything about Dharma, but still he is not satisfied. Therefore, Prabhupada translates it as being absorbed in transcendence under disciplinary regulations, vows. But basically it means Dharma. Transcendence means that he was transcendental according to the material platform. He was above that, but still he was not satisfied. And therefore his question was why I'm not satisfied? Although I know everything about this material world. So what about us? When we come here for Bhagavad class, when we open the sixth canto, we may also have different questions on our mind. We may think, okay, tell us some stories about Krishna, some anecdotes about Prabhupada, tell us some, philosophy, how this universe is, structured. Yeah, fifth canto, sixth canto, okay, that's a story about, it's not, how you call it, thriller, yeah? It's like, wow, Yamadutas and this and that. Wow, that's interesting. So we may have those questions when we're coming here, but that's not the way actually to ask questions. And we may ask even deeper questions, like why I'm not satisfied. I woke up for Mangalarati, I chanted my rounds, but still I'm not satisfied. Please, why I'm not satisfied? And Narada Muni says, Jugupsitam karma kritam. He says, because you're a fool. He says, because everything you do that's abominable. He's using very strong words. He says, Jugupsitam. Jugupsitam is a very strong word. It means abominable. All these dharmic, ideas that you have been developing, this is all abominable. It's like stool on the street. Excremented. Yes. So these are the words. So please, it's not that we should laugh on Vyasadeva, because he is the literary incarnation of the Lord, but he's showing us the example. It's not his level, but he's showing a certain level which is called mumukshu. So if we call the Naimisharanya sages jigyasu, like double root, means like desire, it's like desirative, like I desire to what? Jigyasu means I desire knowledge, and mumukshu means I desire what? Moksha. I desire liberation. So the Vyasadeva, he's showing that example that actually I want liberation from this state of mind which I'm in, from disturbances. This is his level. And we may also come to Bhagavatam, to hear Bhagavatam like that, to hear, to find some, how we call it, some solace, from material disturbances. Okay, you're still here? Everybody's there? Shishigorinta ki jai. Or shall we take prasad now? No. Or we continue, okay? Okay, and then so please just try to remember that, dear devotees, that there are several types of questions, okay? The first one is that of Naimisharanya sages, which is like, tell us about this and that, and ultimately how we can benefit the society. So they were not thinking about themselves. Not that they were so much, selfless, but they were absorbed in serving others. Sometimes we also so much absorbed in doing service, but we forget about ourselves. We forget to chant our japa. We forget to, to think about what we heard. We think that the rituals will make us devotees. That if I just come for Mangalarati, if I just wash the dishes in the kitchen, that I will become a devotee or a pure devotee. No, it's not working like that. It's just the beginning. For the beginning, it's okay. Therefore, this example is there in the Bhagavatam. So it's not bad. It's not something bad. But it's not the first class. It's not the highest class, okay? And the second level is the consciousness of Yasada. Mumukshu means that, okay, so the problem I'm solving here in the temple is that I'm suffering. I'm suffering, actually. This is my problem. And I came here for deliverance, basically. So that's also a type of motivation which is acceptable, but this is not the way to understand Bhagavatam. Therefore, there is the third way to understand Bhagavatam, and this is the question put by Parikshit, Maharaj Parikshit. And the biggest part of the first canto is dedicated to Maharaj Parikshit to describe his qualifications. Who was what was Maharaj Parikshit? What was the personality of Parikshit? And because of which he could ask the questions, actually. And actually, Bhagavatam answers the questions put by Maharaja Parikshit. And what is the question of Maharaja Parikshit?
What shall we do before?
Yeah, I even looked. It's a beautiful question. First of all, and so that's from the 19th chapter. First of all, he says that I want to hear Krishna Katha. That's in the beginning of the 19th chapter. He says, actually, I don't have any other desires. I don't want to hear about this universe. I don't want to hear about how this world was created. I just don't care. And I don't want to hear about my self-discovery. The science of self-discovery, or how you call it? The science of self-realization. Yeah, the book is called. He says, I don't need that book. I just don't need it.
I already have that.
Yeah, I already have it, yeah. Because I have it here. I have it here actually. Because actually I know who I am. So, and I'm not here for the Bhagavatam class, to find questions or answers for my questions. No, I'm here just to hear Krishna Katha. I just enjoy it. I relish hearing Krishna Katha. Then he says, so please go on glorifying the deeds of the Supreme Lord. Just go on glorifying. He's not even asking questions in the beginning. He's not interested in answers. He's there just to hear. But then he remembers that, well, actually, Krishna arranged the whole situation with me being here, being cursed by this Brahmana boy because of certain reason. So he thinks Krishna must have some reason behind it. And he thinks, so why I'm here? Oh, Shukadeva Goswami is coming here. So he can speak Bhagavatam. And I should ask him the question. Deep question, that very question, which is like, about everything. The ultimate question. What is the ultimate question? And then he says, this is 23, 24. Actually, that, no, that's not. Yeah, 23, 24, he says, you are naturally inclined to do good to others. And but for this, you have no interest. And what is that? Huh? 33. You are naturally inclined to, anyways. O trustworthy Brahmanas. He's asking Brahmanas before Shukadeva came. O trustworthy Brahmanas. I now ask you, see, what is he asking? I ask you about my immediate duty. Please, after proper deliberation, because he knows that they don't know actually the answer to the question. Therefore, he says, you please think about it. And after proper deliberation, tell me of the unalloyed duty of everyone in all circumstances, and specifically of those who are just about to die. So this is his question. But actually, he's challenging the sages who gathered there, because he knew that they will not answer the question. He knew the answer, but he knew that they would not do that. So he's asking Krishna to send his representative. And then when Shukadeva Goswami comes in the verses 37, 38, he puts the question. He says, you're the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I'm therefore begging you to show me a way of perfection for all persons, and especially for those who are about to die. So he repeats his question, what is the duty? Why is he asking about the duty? This is the consciousness of a devotee. He is selfless. He's not thinking, what should I do in order to achieve something? No, he's not, because he understands that actually I'm part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So I'm not supposed to ask questions about my own benefit. My duty is not to ask about my benefit or the benefit of the others. My duty is to ask about the highest benefit, which is automatically giving a benefit to all the others. It's like the hands, the arms. If they ask, what is our benefit? Our benefit is to hold things, to where is prasadam? No, they are not asking like that. They just, what is our duty? My duty is to put prasadam in the mouth. And this is the duty of the hands. So in the same way, Maharaja Parikshit, being the most exalted personality, he's not asking about his benefit. He's asking what I should do. What should I do? This is me. I'm like, what should I do? And then he says, please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember, and worship. And also what he should not hear, remember, speak about, and worship. Please explain all this to me. So he's asking 8 questions. Like you may say 1 question, what's the duty? But then he elaborates and makes it into 4 questions. What one should hear about, speak about, what else? Remember and worship. And what else? 4 more. What one should not hear about, should not speak about, should not remember about, and should not worship. So 8 questions, you may say. So these are the main questions of Bhagavatam. And actually the whole Bhagavatam will be answering those questions. Although, okay, now you got it, yeah? So the Bhagavatam answers those questions. Bhagavatam is not answering the questions of the Naimisharanya sages. It's not even answering the questions how to realize my soul. It's answering the questions, the only one question, what is the duty of everyone? And Prabhupada says in this purport, Mriyamananam means one who is about to die. Prabhupada says Mriyamananam is about whom? All of us. Because every one of us are about to die. Any moment that may happen. Prabhupada says that Parikshit knew he had 7 days. We don't know if we have 1 day, if we have 1 minute. Like yesterday in Harinam, you remember what happened? That guy, he just attacked one of our devotees there. Just attacked him. And it happened suddenly. Nobody could, foresee that. What if he was like, he had a knife or something? We don't know. And fortunately, nothing happened, nothing bad happened, but anything may happen any moment. So therefore, this is the question of Bhagavatam. And then, where is the answer? Who knows the answer to the question? What one should do? That's from that. This is actually, how much time we have? Без 15, да, заканчиваем? Без 16, без 15. Okay, but no problem. I will not take long. It will not take long. So Shukadeva Goswami answered actually his question. What is the answer? Who knows the answer? So what is the duty of a dying man? No, Govindananda, yes. You know. No? No?
She answered in second canto.
Yes, in second canto, in verses number 5. Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhaganishvaro Hari Shottavyah. Shottavyah Kirtitavyascha Smartavyah Chichato Bhayam. He says, O descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries. So this is the first answer. And then he gives the second answer to the question, which is very relevant to us. And which is actually, so see, dear devotees, it's like when we go to Harinam, it's not that we're doing some ritual or just having fun there. Well, okay, it's a good company, why don't we spend time there? And after all, without going to Harinam, I will not be given prasadam, yeah? So therefore, they will kick me out from the monastery, whatever. So I have to go. Okay, I'll have to go to Harinam. Well, Nanda Bihari Prabhu is leading. Okay, well, I like it. I will go. But otherwise, Vrajarenas will be there. So it's such an annoying personality. Well, anyways, I'll go because otherwise Anandavarna Maharaj will kick me out of the monastery, etc., etc. So we may have different ideas, but actually, this is the way we go to Harinam. So first, we put the proper question: what is my duty? Because I may die any moment. And then this is 3 steps. Only 3 steps. Okay, if you even forget everything from today's class, please remember 3 things. Okay. First thing, put proper question. Second thing, give the answer, which is what? Worship Krishna. What's that again? Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari. So, worship Krishna. And then the third thing, which is what? He says, how we should worship Krishna. What is that? Who knows the verse? 11, I believe. 10, 11. Eta nirvidyamananam ichhatam akuto bhayam yoginam nripan nirnitam harinam anukirtanam. Hare Krishna. He says that one who gives full attention and respect to hearing Srimad-Bhagatavam achieves unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, the giver of salvation. So first, he says that, yes, worship the Lord. How? By listening to Srimad-Bhagatavam. So therefore, first we listen to Srimad-Bhagatavam, the classes. We read Bhagavatam. And then second, he says, O King, constant chanting of the holy name, Harinam Anukirtanam, of the Lord, after the ways of the great authorities, is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all. For all means for whom? For those who are asking questions like the Naimisharanya sages, for those who are asking questions like Vyasadeva, for those who are asking questions like dogs and cats on the street, for everyone, including those who are free from all material desires, like Vyasadeva, those who are desirous of material enjoyment, like sages, and also for those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge, even for those who achieved success. Manushanam Sahasrishu Kashit. Anyways, Sahasranam Manusham Sakha, what is it? Sahasranam. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, so among thousands of those and also. Anyways, so everyone is benefited by chanting the holy name, but it works. It works in the proper way. The Harinam works. Going for Harinam works only when we put proper questions and we get the proper answers. If we're doing it not because of conventional rules or of something, and we're doing it not in order to understand myself. Like sometimes devotees, they go for Harinam. Krishna, Hare Krishna. Like he's like trying to catch something, like in the air. Krishna, where am I? Who am I? Krishna, please give me the answers. And like he closes the eyes and like meditating and like swinging here and there. And people, they go like go by. Like, oh, what is that? Is it crazy or what? I mean, what's happening? And he's so much absorbed in what? In his mental process, basically. So Harinam is not to get absorbed in our mental, mental activities. It's to glorify the Lord. It's to chant for the benefit of everyone, including ourselves. It's not that, first I should get benefited, so I should chant purely. Yeah, and then everybody else will benefit. No, we're just instruments in Krishna's hands. The Vaishnavas, they're chanting. The pure Vaishnavas, they're chanting the holy name. And I'm just assisting. I'm just, like a puppet there. That's it. This is how we chant Harinam. And then the result comes. So this is how Bhagavatam comes. And then why we're speaking about the 6th canto. Maybe I don't have time for that, but still I will say something. Because it's important, because we're discussing it in the 6th canto. So after Shukadeva Goswami gives the answers to all the questions, then he gives illustrations, like the 2nd canto is about different types of sadhanas, then comes the Chatushloki. So basically he answers all the questions in the 2nd canto, but then every one of us will face our doubts. And this is how, so we have doubts. Okay, yes, we know how to go to Harinam, but still we have doubts. The first doubt is that, well, maybe I I don't have to accept God in my life. But maybe this life is like just, this life is just, this world is just the lump of matter. It's just matter, actually. Actually, gross materialism. So the third canto is dealing with this doubt. And on the example of this, there is a clinch between there's a clash between Varahadev and Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha is the manifestation, like the personification of materialistic mentality, and Varahadev is the personification of this yogic mentality, or this self-sacrifice mentality, sacrificial mentality, the Vedic culture. And so then first we see, no, actually we should give up the materialistic way of life, the tamas and rajas, and we should take to Vedic lifestyle. So this is the first step when we come to Krishna consciousness. They tell us, okay, 4 regulative principles, this and that. So this is the third canto. Then the fourth canto comes when we think, well, actually maybe I can follow Vedic culture without accepting Krishna as the as the highest goal of everything. And that's the personification of that mentality is Daksha. Yeah. So Daksha he was Vedic follower of Tarsunov, basically. Perfect follower of Tarsunov. Yeah, he's coming here sometimes. People know him. In the form of Shata. Okay. Everybody knows Vrajarenu Prabhu. So I'm the follower of Vrajarenu. I don't need Krishna. But then comes what? In the fourth. This is why in the fourth canto we have Mahadev, Shiva, who is the personification of Jnana Mishra Bhakti, which means that, okay, you may be like successful in this world. You're taking ginger all the time. You have, all this stuff on your wrist, etc. But still, you have to give up everything. And the, renunciation. Basically, I will not go into details. So the idea is that Shiva is the manifestation of Jnana in the fourth canto, which shows that actually this Vedic culture is not that perfect. Actually, it's not perfect at all. And then comes the fifth canto, which is describing another doubt. Because when we think, okay, if this world is not a good place to live in, even in the Vedic lifestyle, I will not be happy here. Maybe I should just give it up. I just reject it. So therefore, the fifth canto is dedicated to the doubt or the false understanding that actually we should take sannyas. Everybody, when you take sannyas, when you renounce this world, then you will become happy. So you cannot be happy in this world, even by following Tarsunov. But you may become happy if you just renounce this world. Yeah, see, nice chadar. Very sannyasic chadar. So this is how I will become. I will go to the ashram, monastery of the holy name. Yes, it doesn't matter that it's holy name, but it's the monastery. That's the main thing. And therefore we have this, and Bhagavatam, the fifth canto, deals with that and explains that actually it's not the way to become happy. Just see it, Bharat Maharaj. He took sannyas prematurely without having proper qualification. And what happened? Everybody knows it. And other examples, Priyavrata also took sannyas legally prematurely. Then his son Agnidra, he took sannyas because he was like fed up with material life. And what happened? Nothing good happened, etc., etc. Then Rishabhadev, Rishabhadev is the proper way to renounce. And then, actually, Bharata Maharaj was premature renunciation and then mature renunciation, like as Jada Bharata. Yeah? He took sannyas, that time he took sannyas properly. So the fifth canto explains that it's not the way to become happy. You may take sannyas, and some people should take sannyas, yeah? But after, it's not the way that purifies your heart. First, you should dedicate your life to Krishna, and then you may take sannyas. Some people do, some others don't. And that's not the point. But the point is that, like we began with this verse, what is that? Bhavasagarasya. Nishkinchanasya Bhagavad Bhajanun Mukasya. If you first you become Nishkinchana Bhakta, then you can become happy. And then comes the sixth canto. Okay, you follow? You remember everything? So the sixth canto is dealing with another doubt. That we may think, okay, pure devotional source. Okay, I will go to Anandavardhan Swami, or we will invite pure devotees here, and we will hear from them, and we will try to dovetail our life to what they're speaking. We will try to dovetail our life to what Prabhupada is speaking. But first, we should get purified. Because, before surrendering to Krishna, first you have to become pure of your sins. Because how can I come to Krishna without being purified? At least we take shower, yeah? What else? We should, make some prayashchita. And this is actually what the sixth canto is about. It's not like that. And the main story of the sixth canto is what? Vritrasura, yes. Vritrasura demon. And even in some Puranas, they say that actually the sixth canto is the heart of Bhagavatam. Heart. That means that this is the main idea. The main idea of Bhagavatam is actually in the sixth canto. It's not in the 10th. How come? Because the sixth canto is the first explanation of pure bhakti, pure devotional service. Before that, we had all the mixtures, but here the pure devotional service comes. And Vritrasura is the manifestation of that, despite all the other things. And Jiva Goswami in his Bhakti Sandarbha, he's asking question, why is it the heart of the Bhagavatam? Actually, the story of the gopis should be the heart of Bhagavatam, because they are the manifestation, they are the personification of the pure bhakti, is it not? The gopis. So Anandavardhana Maharaj may come down here right now and say, I heard what you said, Vrajarenu, about the sixth canto, Vritrasura. No, and he will beat me on the head. No, actually, the gopis are the... And he will be right, but Jiva Goswami says, yes, it's correct, but not exactly. I mean, that's not precise like that, because, the gopis, they are. He says, gopis are the personification of the purest bhakti, but Vritrasura is showing us the process of becoming a pure devotee. Because despite being born in a demonic family, having all those, all that stuff, all this, tattoos, and then, and all this strange, everything, you just look at the people around, and you will see so many small Vritrasuras. And, heart also we see nothing good, actually. Nothing, no good qualities, no good inheritance, nothing. No good genealogy, nothing. But so Vritrasura was like that. But despite everything, he became pure devotee. Confirmed. So he became a pure devotee, and this is why Bhagavatam, the sixth canto, is proclaimed to be the crest jewel of Bhagavatam. Actually, this is the very heart, and all the other stories have to be viewed from that viewpoint. So we look at all the other stories through the perspective of this Vritrasura Vadana Lila, of the death of Vritrasura. And this is how we look at the first three chapters. The first three chapters are describing the story of Ajamil. And the last thing that I will say before we go is that actually it's not about Ajamila. These chapters are not about Ajamila. Although we read about Ajamila, how come it's not about? It's about the conflict between the two groups of devotees. There is a group of pure devotees, and there is a group of devotees who think that before becoming pure devotee, you should get purified. So the first group is called what? Vishnudutas, yes. And the second group is called Yamadutas. So both of them are pure devotees. Pure in the sense that they value pure devotional service. But the difference is that the Yamadutas, they think that, devotional service is good. Yes, Bhakti, Harinam, and Prasad, what else? So all the things connected to devotional service, this is okay. But there are other things which are also valuable, like health, for example. What else? Money, or what else? Good reputation, or like purity of mind, or renunciation, or freedom from sinful activities. Freedom from sinful activities, that is important. So, and Vishnudutas, they are just the opposite. And they say, no, it's not important. And when the Yamadutas say, no, Ajamila cannot go. Ajamila is supposed to go to hell. And Vishnudutas say, no, he's going to Vaikuntha. But he is sinful. So, okay, we don't mind. Like Yamaduta said, we don't mind him going to Vaikuntha, but before that, he should do what? Prayashchita. So before he should get purified from his sins, and then he can go to Vaikuntha. And Vishnu said, no way. That's not the way it works. We just take him. Just take him. That's it. Like Yamadutas, they were like confused, really confused. So then they went to the second chapter, describes the dialogue between them, and this dialogue, this is the core of the story. And then the third chapter, they like being confused, they go to Yamaraj and he explains the glories of the pure devotional service. So this is the first encounter in our heart, these chapters, the first encounter with this conflict between the pure devotional service and impure devotional service. And the main idea is that no, we should not mix devotional service with anything. We may think, okay, I will become a devotee. I will become a devotee. But in the morning I'm a pure devotee while chanting, but then I'm going to work, and it's not pure devotional service, is it? No, I have to work. I have to maintain my family. Then I come back home in the evening and I watch. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I take prasad. Yeah, prasad. Yeah. And I chat with my wife or my husband. Yeah, and I pet my children, and then we watch. Oh no, we don't watch nothing. No Netflix. No. Okay, yes, I do watch Netflix or Apple TV. Yeah, at least news. Yeah, I have to watch news. Because I have to know. I must know what's happening in the world. That's not devotional service, but I have to do it parallel. Like it's parallel because we're going two rails, like Maharaj said. Yeah, two rails: pure devotional service and BBC News. So this is, and the sixth canto says no. That's not the way to do it. This is not the way. This is not devotional. Devotional service means pure devotional service. Don't mix it, please. And this is what we will read about in this canto. Yeah. Well, basically, this is how. And the example of Ajamila is just for us to see ourselves in him. This is why we're reading about Ajamila. Because we should read, okay, maybe I'm not a Brahmana by birth, yeah, at all, not Brahmana. But, just like Ajamila, I become victim of all this Mike, stuff which is happening around. And what is my future? What will happen to me? We will hear about that later. Okay, I will finish here. Maybe one question we have or criticism. But just don't tell Anandavardhan Maharaj. oh, he's here. I'm kidding. I didn't say anything. I didn't say the truth. Yeah, no. Yeah, they didn't take Ajamila. He's asking. I said, I didn't say they took Ajamila. I said they said that he's qualified. He's freed. Actually, they said he is purified already because he once chanted Namabas, and he was not qualified to go to the spiritual world. That's right, because after that he went to what was that place? Haridwar, yeah. But he didn't do Prayashchita, what is important. He went there not to perform Prayashchita and then go to the spiritual world, but he went there to develop his Krishna consciousness. So he went there because he was not fully Krishna conscious, but he was already purified from the sins by chanting the holy name of Narayana. So that's the point. He was not qualified to go to the spiritual world, but he was purified already. That's the point. So the idea is that the Yamadutas, they think that, okay, you can practice devotional service, but before you should do Prayashchita. But Vishnu will say, no. Devotional service itself first purifies you from the sins and then fructifies and becomes like the pure devotional service. Okay? Yeah, correct? Yeah? No? Okay, more or less. But at least this is what I heard from my spiritual master.
So, this 10th subject matter of Srimad-Bhagatavam. So, the 6th canto, which was applied. This is according to the 10 subjects of Srimad.
There are different classifications of how you look at Bhagavatam, and this Atrasarga Visarga chapter verse describes a different approach.
Yeah, but in sixth canto, which categories fall down?
There are two opinions on that. The first opinion is that the third canto is Sarga, fourth canto is Visarga, fifth canto Sthanam, and the sixth canto is Poshanam. And Poshanam means feeding or nourishing. Yeah. And that this is how it's manifested in the sixth canto is that Krishna is nourishing his pure devotees. He gives everything to his pure devotees. He takes care of his devotees and of his pure devotees first, and he takes care of Indra, who is the how you call it anti-hero, or how you call it? There is a hero and there is the opposite. Not a villain, but like anti-hero, say. So he's a hero with minus, so to say, minus. The hero of the sixth canto is Vritrasura, and Indradev, he is like anti-hero. So, but Krishna still takes care of Indra also, because he's devotee. He's not some something. He's a devotee, and then Krishna takes care of Ajamila, Poshanam, and he takes care of Yamadutas, because they didn't know about the glories of the pure devotional service, and he takes them to. They go to Yamaraj, and this is the way Krishna takes care of them. And the main thing is that Krishna takes care of Vritrasura, although he was going through so many struggles. Yeah. So according Srimad-Bhagatavam Grantha Raja ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.